On today's show,
we discuss Kevin Durant's Game 1 dominance, the Warriors' help defense, and where the Cavs go from here.
Trey joins us live from the Bay to let us in on opening night vibes and whether he completed his challenge.
And Rihanna steals the show in a new NBA Finals edition of the Meme Team.
It's Friday, June 2nd. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters, presented by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Whether you're joining us live right now on NBA TV or a little bit later on YouTube, we're very, very happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tass Mellis.
Thank you for joining us.
To his right, it's the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily, great to have you back.
Thank
Lily.
you.
TK, Trey Kirby, still in Oakland, of course, still at the NBA Finals. We'll talk to him a little bit later in the show. And we have a brand new edition of the Meme Team. But we start by looking back at Game 1 last night, Thursday night. The Warriors, they're still perfect after picking up the 113-91 victory over the Cavs in Game 1 of the Finals. They had a competitive first quarter, and then the Dubs took control in the second. Then they opened it up in the third. Kevin Durant led the way with 38 points, 8 boards, 8 assists, and a stare down of Rihanna. We'll get to that later. But a little look back here. I got 3 questions for you guys, and for everyone joining us live right now on NBA TV. Jump on Twitter, hashtag the starters. Play along here. The first question is pretty simple. What was the biggest takeaway from Game 1? What do you think?
Let's keep this simple. Kevin Durant added onto this team makes these guys so ridiculously good. And you can have Draymond Green go 3 for 12, Klay Thompson go 3 for 16 because you have 2 incredible weapons in Kevin Durant and Steph Curry to worry about the offense. Then those guys worry about their defense, and they really helped out on that end. But this composition is just so perfect. Then you throw in an Andre Iguodala with those 4 All-Stars, and who do you go to if you're trying to stop them? I mean, there's no way you can really stop this entire team. LeBron has nowhere to hide. All 5 guys can score at all times. This defense for the Cleveland Cavaliers has not been great this entire season, and when you've got 5 incredible weapons like that, led by what I think is the best scoring duo in the world in KD and Steph Curry, it's going to be a lot of points on the board. Yeah, it really is.
Kevin Durant's basically slotted into the team from the start of the season pretty well, but last night it almost looked like he was so ready for that game and that position to be back in the finals again that he didn't even think about his days in Oklahoma City. Like, the Warriors were just such a well-oiled machine pretty much from the start. I know the first quarter was kind of tight, but once they got into their flow and Durant was out there, it just made the Cavaliers' defense pretty much look empty. They didn't really have an option. They didn't really have a way of stopping him, and if you did stop him, of course, it does open up the floor for all those other guys. And if you're Ty Lue right now, you've got to be really wondering, how do you actually slow the Warriors down, other than if you can slow the game down somehow?
Yeah, I thought that first half is likely to be the Warriors' worst half shooting the ball in terms of their touch and their feel. I mean, they missed 15 shots at the rim. 15. That's a heck of a lot of shots at the rim. They had 45 shots within 3 feet in this game. 45.
Wow.
Think about that. I mean, that's, almost half their shots. The highest team during the regular season was OKC because Russ got to the rim.
Yeah.
At 33 per game. And this was an additional 12. They got to the rim because they were trying to take away the three-point
Well, that's right.
shot.
I mean, Coach Lue, after the game, said we had our defensive strategy backwards. We were trying to take away those shooters, especially in transition. We would get out on Curry and get on the shooters like Klay, but that just left, as we showed you, Kevin Durant and everyone else just parading right to the rim. Kevin Durant, 6 dunks in the first half. 6, that's a wild stat. You do not see that. Not just no matter who it is. I mean, Kevin Durant's one of the best players in the game. No one does that.
Yeah.
And so but then again, what do you say? So, okay, now you got to try and take away that, and then you're just going to open up the 3-point shooters. It's a bit of a no-win situation.
Yeah, even though Klay Thompson has been struggling, you can't really leave him alone. Your player, he deserves respect from a defender, so you can't really send his defender over to help. It might have to be, if it's Zaza, someone like his defender goes over and help, because really he's the only guy who can't absolutely burn you all night, even though if he gets a lot of shots around the ring, he's going to score them, but he's the guy that I guess they can at least afford to leave open.
Yeah, a big part of this, though, of course, we're talking about all these transition points. Well, a lot of those started because there was turnovers.
Yes.
From the Cleveland Cavaliers. 20 in total they committed. That's the most they've committed in 55 playoff games over the last 3 years. 20 is a whole lot against any team. you're in deep trouble if it's against the Warriors going the other way. A lot of those were live ball turnovers, too.
And it led to 21 points for the Warriors as well. So if you look at the margins there, the Warriors only had 4 turnovers, which led to 6 points. There's a 15-point difference just right there. The game was a 22-point margin in the end. Now, there's always going to be some turnovers. You expect to have that. But as you mentioned, live ball turnovers, if the Warriors turn it down the other end and score straight away, it really just doubles the problem that you're having.
Was that sloppy Cavs play, or was that just incredible defense from guys like Clay and Draymond and Iguodala and Durant and Curry even, all these guys with active hands, or a bit of both?
Well, I think the Warriors are definitely the better defensive team, and when Dre and Clay don't have to score all that much, and all they really have to do is work their butts off on the defensive end and just let their open shots come to them, I mean, they're going to be great. And you saw what a defensive player of the year in Draymond Green can do. I'm calling him defensive player of the year because I'm guessing that he's going to win it on June 26th at the NBA Awards show because, he just runs his team so well from the back line, and everything he does is just so demonstrative, and you have to take notice of everything he does. He gets everybody going. And again, you don't have to be a scorer out there. That's Dre's job, and he just makes a huge, huge difference. If he's not suspended in this series, he's going to make a monstrous difference. That's where the series turned last year for me.
Absolutely. All right, moving on here, guys. Let's get sort of specific. Was there a signature moment from Game 1 that jumped out at you?
I liked it when Steph, in the third quarter, shook off LeBron James and stepped back for one of his patented three-pointers. Because what that showed to me was, even when the Cavs defend Steph well, and they sort of go here to try to trap him, he can break free so easily. And now, if you're the Cavs, LeBron is still your best defender. He's not guarding Steph very often. But when he comes out to help and Steph can get a shot off like that, it's pretty demoralizing for the rest of the Cavs. Now, last year, we don't know exactly how injured Steph was in the finals, but we know he wasn't moving like he was.
He didn't look like that,
no,
Steph.
Exactly. And that's the big
that.
difference here, that if you're Lou and you want to try Shumpert on him, or J.R. Smith, or LeBron goes out there like that, and Steph can just break those guys down, then it really does create so many problems, because you're trying to get the ball out of his hands, but he's like, I can pass it, I'm happy to do that, but at the same time, I can just get past anybody I want. If he doesn't shoot that three-pointer, he's basically got a free lane to the basket as well. So there's a lot of problems there for the Cavs to try to slow Steph down, try to stop him. But even if you do, he can pretty much get his own shot off.
I like that play, but I think a more of a signature moment play, whatever you want to call it, might be another Curry three. And the only reason I say this one is because it started on defense and then led to offense. And it was this one late in the second quarter when Iguodala, just wraps up Kyrie Irving. The Cavs keep the ball, but here's Durant playing as good as defense as you can play on one of the best players of all time in LeBron James. And then we're going the other way with Curry getting the rebound, hitting the three, and then oddly high-stepping, showing us his new Under Armour shoes, I guess. But this, to me, this is when they blew the game open, of course, in the third quarter, and it was that defense leading to those transition points, and that is what the Cavs are going to have to try and shore up if they're going to have any chance in Game 2 and maybe in the series.
Yeah, I didn't really see a signature moment. You guys picked two great ones. For me, coming into this series, I wanted to see how the Warriors guarded LeBron James because he is the best in the world. How many bodies they're going to throw at him. And that Kevin Durant sequence, we're going to talk about his offense probably all series long when he had 38 points, but this was the Kevin Durant that they signed from OKC because they knew his length was a problem against them in the Western Conference Finals last year. And Andre Iguodala showing that he's healthy and spry. This was a worry coming into this series. But the KD, and Draymond Green, of course, combination. That length really bothered LeBron James and caused a bunch of those turnovers. That three-headed monster. It's tough to deal with. And KD is going to get a lot of credit for the O throughout this series, but he does a ton for the defense.
Credit for the O, man.
All right, it's just one game but here.
I stopped myself from saying the D, but you laughed at the O, so I had to.
It's just one game but here. I want to ask, can the Cavs bounce back here? Can they bounce back in Game 2 and again in this series? And if so, what do they particularly have to do?
I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty quite yet, but Kyrie Irving said it's a pride thing after the game. The Warriors doubled the deflections that the Cavs had. They had far more loose balls than the Cavs had. That's where it starts. Stop the ball. Then we can deal with, the nitty-gritty and the details that I know you want to get to the rebounding and such, but at first it's, come on, let's stop the ball and then worry about the shooters.
I think it's a bunch of things. They got to take care of the basketball. They got killed on the glass, which was surprising because we were going into the series thinking maybe that's one advantage that the Cavs will have. Maybe they can get them on the offensive glass. The Warriors all season long have been pretty poor defensive rebounding. But it was really you look at the end of the game, the numbers are pretty similar, offensive rebounds, but there was a lot of times Zaza Pachulia early in that game. JaVale McGee, you were talking earlier coming into this series, you thought maybe he would have a little bit of a role. Didn't play a ton of minutes, but he was active when he was out there.
Yeah.
Definitely effective, and they got to get back in transition. It's all these sort of simple things that win you most basketball games. But you're right, they got to just play with a little more heart.
Lots went right for the Warriors and lots went wrong for the Cavs. They didn't get much off their bench, but we also know that in game ones, LeBron doesn't have a great record.
Yep.
And in game twos, it's a lot better. It's 4-3. It's over 500. So he has lost a couple of those game twos as well. But if we look back at his career, he tends to respond pretty well.
Yeah.
So
he calibrates,
Yeah.
thank you, his game better than I think maybe anyone in NBA history, from game to game.
For sure.
So they're going to come back and attack this differently.
I think
That's a tough word.
it's difficult for us to recabrolate
Yeah.
after our drop podcast every Friday. Then we got to do a second show about 8 hours later.
You're absolutely right. Well, we got
We're
lots
not
more
machines.
still to come on tonight's show. When we come back.
What is that?
Oh my God!
What?
NSFW,
Are you
bro.
kidding me?
Tape that down.
Oh my God.
Brownies! Back with the starters, where Trey is by the bay, and he's looking mad cool. Hit us with an AO, Trey.
Ayo!
Ayo! TK, looking so fly, man. First things first, you were there last night. Whoa, don't blow away, TK.
Looking like he's gonna fly away.
Whoa, guys, I might get blown off here. Who knows what's gonna happen? San Francisco, am I right?
Yeah. This is why we don't send me out on remotes. I would definitely fly away there. All right, so TK, you were in the building last night. You were in the Roracle for game one. What was the atmosphere like? You had a lot of celebrities there.
Yeah, first half, it honestly felt like a continuation of Game 7. The first quarter especially, I don't think any fans were sitting down. We had very Game 7-y kind of plays, right? We had some dramatic foul calls on Draymond Green. We had dunks galore. There was just a lot of dramatic moments, and the crowd was popping. I think the biggest pop of the night probably was during that run where JaVale McGee had a couple of dunks on almost back-to-back possessions. The crowd was going crazy for that, went crazy for that big Iguodala dunk. It just felt like we were back in the finals again, which was kind of what everybody was expecting, and it felt like it was going to be that way the whole time. But then the second half came, and it seemed like the focus of the game sort of turned to Rihanna, myself included. You know, the game was getting a little bit more out of hand. You had to kind of keep an eye on social media to see what she was doing, and also in arena to spot her, see what she was doing. Much to my surprise, when I left the game, left press row, I walked down the stands, ended up accidentally using the same exit as Adam Silver. And who was behind Adam Silver? Rihanna herself, getting a personal escort from the commissioner because he understands she's the most important person to get out of there. Well played. The guy is comfortable in any room with any person, and that's why he is the best.
There you go. All right, well, I hate to do this to you because it is just one game, but you were the lone starters member here to take the Cavs in 6. After seeing what we saw in game 1, are you worried about your prediction at all? Did you want to change it? You want to take a mulligan? What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, I'm not super confident that the Cavs are going to win 4 out of the next 5, but I also don't think it's totally crazy. Like you guys were mentioning off the top, LeBron tends to lose game 1s. Heading into last night, he was 17-10 in game 1s during this 7-year finals run, 23-4 in game 2s after that. So I don't think it's crazy to see the Cavs winning game 2. The problem is going to be cleaning up all of the things that they did wrong because they made a lot of silly mistakes, a lot of lazy passes. They were just leaving Kevin Durant to dunk down the middle of the court, and then their role players couldn't shoot. And I think that's a problem because game 1, you're going to see 9 guys in the rotation for the Cavs. As the series goes on, are we going to see Kyle Korver and Darren Williams? It's hard to say. So when they have their chances to make shots, they got to make them. Not the case in game 1.
All right, well, let's find out whether or not you completed your game 1 challenge. Just to refresh everyone's memory, we told you to try and find the Stephen Curry guy. Did you have any success in finding the Stephen Curry guy?
You know, I spent an hour and a half outside of Oracle talking to fans, looking for weirdos, looking for this guy. Looked everywhere I could, checked every nook and cranny. Didn't see the Boombox Man at all, but I'm going to go back out there before game 2 because I just want to find this guy. I want to see what his deepest cut is, what his latest fire track is for the streets.
I don't think he was there if you didn't see him, Trey, because you wouldn't have had to look too hard for him. He'll find you if he's there.
You left him speechlessly.
Not hearing anything.
Can you still hear us, Trey? The wind is too loud. Okay, well, we've lost Trey Kerb. Well, what we were going to ask Trey is how his diet was going, especially considering that it is National Donut Day. And yesterday we showed you him talking to Tristan Thompson, and one of the things we didn't put in the piece was Tristan Thompson's love for Tim Hortons
Canada.
back in Canada. And seeing as it is National Donut Day, here's that little clip.
Another thing that keeps popping up in profiles here and there is your love for Tim Hortons. Apparently you get some free Tim Hortons when you go back home. You almost missed a flight running to get Tim Hortons. I saw you even brought the Larry O'Brien trophy into a Tim Hortons. Aside from friends and family, is Tim Hortons the thing you miss most from Canada?
Most definitely. It's part of being Canadian. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys started in Toronto? What? So I heard something.
It did start in Toronto. I was there for a couple of years.
Okay.
Got my double-double on the regular, rolling up the rim, trying to win. Never got anything but a free coffee.
Yeah, so, I rolled the rim to win. Oh my God, that's a throwback. Well, appreciate the horn. Yeah, I really interrupted. But no, being Canadian, Tim Hortons is a must. It's like, it's what we need to survive. And every time I go up there, get me a chocolate dip and a peach soda.
Chocolate dip and a peach soda. You're not ordering coffee.
No, the horn again, hot chocolate.
All right, I think we have Trey Kirby back. Trey, can you hear us?
The reception is not so great this high up. We're too high. We're higher than the satellites right now. But, I had fun talking with you guys, blowing my brownies out up here.
Well, we'll talk to you on Sunday. I know you have something special in store for us, so just hang on, man. Hang on. All right. After the jump, Rihanna steals the show and Jeff Van Gundy's heart in a brand new edition of the Meme Team. Live TV.
The Starters on NBA TV is brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, proud partner of the NBA. Do your friends proud. Please drink responsibly.
Every week, we scour the internet to bring you the Meme Team, our favorite weird and wacky moments from the past 7 days.
At number 5, JaVale McGee had a solid game 1. He trolled Shaq upon arrival. You remember the feud that he had this year with him? The cool hat. And then, in his minutes that were pretty memorable, this popped up. He owns a Sphinx cat. The internet, well, they love that. So let's do a little research here. This is a photo, him and his Sphinx cat.
That's a cat?
Yes.
Ugh.
Sphinx cat is a supporter of JaVale McGee and J.E. Skeets with the Mr. Bigglesworth.
With the finals tipping last night, Jimmy Kimmel debuted an all-NBA edition of his mean tweets.
I bet DeAndre Jordan is so bad at free throws because his eyes are so close together.
Personally, I think Paul George could be traded for like half a bag of saltine crackers.
James Harden always looks like he's just about to lead the Israelites through the Red Sea.
I don't think Shaq is dumb, but he sure sounds like it.
At number 3, Kevin Love waddling pregame. I mean, poor Kevin Love. He's just trying to get somewhere with his exercise band around his ankles.
It looks like something else.
It sure does. And that's why CJ0 tweeted, Kevin Love looks like a guy with his pants around his ankles who just realized there's no toilet paper. We've all been there.
Number 2, have you ever wondered what a romantic comedy featuring Durant and LeBron would look like? Because Bleacher Report did.
Meet Kevin. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Now that he's moving on up to the Bay Area, anything is possible. Meet LeBron. Everywhere he goes, he's the king. He's found the love of his life.
I love you so much. Don't you ever leave me like that again.
These two ballers are chasing the trophy of their dreams. Problem is, it's the same trophy.
Damn it.
Now Kevin's gonna need a little help from his new friends. And Bron might have to lean on his wingman. It's not always pretty, but all's fair in love and basketball. This summer, the NBA cordially invites you to the romantic rivalry of the season, Chasing Larry.
Hey man, it's time for you to start winning.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Oh, yeah.
At number 1, it's Rihanna. Now, Jeff Van Gundy was calling a game, but he had other priorities. Listen.
Pass inside. Tristan Thompson finds James. A lot of thunderous dunks here in the opening period. I don't know about this, but Rihanna just walked in front of me. Are you kidding me?
And that produced this incredible meme from Brosen. Oh, my man over there is Jeff Van Gundy. He wanted to know what you getting into after the game with this photo. This photo is absolutely incredible. Well done. Rihanna was clear about who she was cheering for. She bowed to LeBron. She's a clear LeBron supporter.
Yep.
Throws up the rock there. Throws up a dab to the Warriors fans. Yeah, just right, the Warriors fans who were giving her heck. And KD wasn't having it either. Apparently, Rihanna was yelling brick when KD was at the free throw line, so KD had to stare her down. He did so many a times, but he had no recollection post-game apparently.
Toward the end of the game, you shot a three, kind of putting the dagger into him, and you looked toward the crowd toward Rihanna. Was that on purpose, or do you remember that? Or
I don't even remember that.
Well, just to let you know, social media is buzzing about it.
Really?
Yes.
Don't get in that trap. Yeah, I don't get in that. I'm cool. Have fun with that.
Final break here, but when we return, Lily hits us with the very solid play. You're watching The Starters, presented by Jack Daniels, Tennessee Honey. Lily, it's been too long, man. Who gets the honor for very solid play?
Well, the Cavs trail 1-0 in the series, but they lead 1-0 in the very solid plays of the series. Look at that for a beautiful pass there from LeBron. Beautiful finish also from Kyrie. That's what I call a very solid play.
Now it's time for Fan of the Night. There were plenty to choose from, but we're going to go back first. You remember in Cleveland, this young fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
he's wearing both. Well, he's back in Golden State yesterday.
He's back!
Doing the exact same thing.
Okay, that's his bit. We had a blast with the Drop podcast. It's up on iTunes, Google Play Music, our website. We discussed Game 1 in great detail, and Lee and Matt challenged each other to a chopped competition. I'd rather you make me a meal than Lee Ellis make me a meal. This
Well,
make
that's
you a
obvious.
chef.
Yeah, I wouldn't just toss a chunk of fruit leather at you and let you nod it like a dog on a
We
bone.
should maybe make this interesting, Matt. Maybe we
You
could,
want to do a chopped?
We could do a chopped.
Oh, yeah, we should do a chopped. We should do a chopped.
The problem is your meals are already chopped meals, but you make no attempt to integrate the ingredients. You're like, well,
Hey,
they gave me
listen.
pesto, they
Listen.
gave me pickled ginger,
Hey.
and they gave me a veggie burger.
It doesn't matter how you do it. If he likes my meal more than yours, then I win.
Good. Starters chopped. We gotta do
Finally.
it. We gotta do it. Tonight, guys, the Finals Film Room, Game 1 review. These are great shows. Breakdown with the coaches, breaking down Game 1, 9 p.m. on the network. Following us, Game Time, live from the Bay, and you see the schedule there for Saturday and Sunday. Pre-game live at the Finals, 6 p.m. on Sunday. Starters before that at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So we'll get you all ready for Game 2. Otherwise, enjoy the weekend.
All right. Looking forward to that. Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, it might be National Donut Day, but Trey's favorite desserts are brownies, as he
man.
likes to call his areoli.
Brace the weekend, people. Brace that sight.